The few trains differently. They see behavior as something to design, not force. They replace motivation with mechanics. And once you think this way, you don't go back because the results stop feeling accidental. Most people don't lack discipline to achieve their goals. Most underperform because they use the wrong tool. Goal setting feels productive, it feels responsible, it feels like progress. For most people, goal setting often keeps them stuck, not because goals are bad, because they optimize for the wrong thing. Today, I want to discuss the difference between goal setting and system thinking. Why one creates emotional volatility while the other creates momentum without motivation. This isn't about abandoning goals entirely. The few use goals, but not the way most people think. They don't chase goals. They build systems that make outcomes unavoidable. And once you see this distinction, it's hard to unsee it. Most debates about goals miss the real question. It's not whether goals work, it's what they're optimized for. Goal setting optimizes for outcome. A goal says, I want X result. More clients, more money, more options, more freedom. A system optimizes for conditions. A system asks, what environment makes X unavoidable? Goals are about arriving. Systems are about how things operate every day in order to achieve the outcome you want. That's a critical difference. Because outcomes are lagging indicators. Conditions are leverage. You don't get paid because you want revenue. You get paid because of what happens repeatedly, whether you feel motivated or not. The real cost of goals isn't effort. It's where they place your attention in time. Because goals pull you forward, systems anchor you where execution actually happens. Goals live in the future. You don't feel successful until you hit a target. Until then, there's tension. Waiting, striving, almost there. That creates a familiar loop of feeling motivated, discouraged, guilt, reset. Systems live in the present. You win every time you run a system. No finish line required. The few who are system thinkers live in a different loop. No drama, no countdown, no emotional whiplash. Progress becomes boring. And that's the point. A lot of frustration comes from trying to control the wrong things. Outcomes you can't touch, timelines you can't force. Goals and systems create very different relationships to control. Goals focus on what you want. Systems focus on what you can control. You can't control when clients say yes, when your revenue spikes. But you do control how many enrollment conversations you have, how your intake process works, how you respond to resistance. Goals keeps you fixated on outcomes you don't control. And systems pull your attention back to the behavior. This is where leverage lives. Systems remove the illusion of control and replaces it with influence. What you practice every day doesn't just produce results. It produces a self-image. And this is where the difference between goals and systems becomes personal. Goals are external and they sound like, I will become someone who does X. Systems are identity based and they sound like, this is what someone like me does daily. This is why systems stick. They don't require motivation. They don't require alignment. You're not trying to be disciplined. Your system assumes disciplined. When behavior matches identity, effort drops dramatically. Eventually, something breaks. It always does. What matters is how the structure interprets it. This is the failure mode. Watch what happens when goals fail. Most people will just quit, self-judge, restart later, maybe. Failures become moralized. Inconsistent, I'm incompetent, I lack willpower, there's something wrong with me. Now watch what happens when systems fail. The few will debug, refine, remove friction. System thinkers don't interpret failure as personal weakness. They treat it as feedback. That's a massive psychological upgrade. One creates shame, the other creates learning. So why does the few set goals? Not to chase them, to shape what gets built next. This is where people get confused. Okay? The few do set goals, but not as motivational tools. They use goals as directional markers, constraints, filters for system designed. They don't chase them. They build systems backward from them. Once the system works, the goal becomes irrelevant. The output keeps happening anyway. Let's make this concrete. Let's say you have a goal of making $1 million this coming year. That's abstract, pressure loaded, and emotionally fragile. Now translate this into a system. 5 enrollment conversations per day, 1 optimized intake flow, weekly metrics review. 1 constraint, no emotional hijacking in consult. Same destination, completely different mechanics. Revenue stops being the target. It becomes the byproduct. Goals are narratives. Systems are mechanics. Goal motivates briefly. Systems compound quietly. If you feel stuck despite being disciplined, intelligent, and capable, this is usually why. You're not failing. You're just using a tool that was never designed to work long term.